The 7 signs. You're going through a spiritual awakening and what each stage means. Across every culture and every era, there are stories of a sudden, life-changing shift in awareness. Some call it enlightenment. Others describe it as a rebirth. Many simply call it a spiritual awakening. It is a process that goes far beyond adopting a new belief or practicing a new ritual. It's a transformation that reshapes how a person sees themselves, the world, and their place in it. Although each awakening is as unique as the individual experiencing it, patterns do emerge. These patterns have been recorded in ancient spiritual texts, observed by modern psychologists, and passed down through the lived experiences of countless seekers. Today, we will explore 7 of the most common signs that someone may be going through a spiritual awakening. As you listen, you may recognize yourself in one, several, or all of them. And you may realize that you've been experiencing these signs for much longer than you thought. Have you ever had the feeling that your old life, the routines, the habits, even the goals you once worked toward, no longer fit, as if an unseen hand has been nudging you towards something more? If so, you may already be on this path. Sign 1, heightened awareness of synchronicity. One of the earliest and most magical signs of awakening is a surge in meaningful coincidences. What psychologist Carl Jung famously called synchronicity. Imagine walking into a bookstore and your eyes land on a single book with a title that perfectly answers the question you've been wrestling with, or thinking about someone you haven't spoken to in years, and they call you that very afternoon. Sometimes it's as simple as looking at the clock at exactly 11:11, 3 days in a row. From a psychological perspective, this can be explained by the mind's pattern recognition system becoming more active. Spiritually, it's often seen as the universe sending subtle confirmations that you are aligned with a larger flow. It's like driving down a winding road at night and seeing small lanterns lighting the path ahead. Each one is a quiet reassurance. Yes, you're heading in the right direction. Guided reflection. Picture yourself walking through your day and noticing a small repeating sign that only you would recognize. How would it feel to take that as a message meant just for you? Sign 2, deep discomfort with old patterns. Another sign is a growing unease with the old rhythms of life. Jobs, relationships, and habits that once felt perfectly fine may now feel strangely heavy. It's as if you've been wearing a coat for years, and one day you realize it's far too small, restricting every movement. This discomfort can show up as boredom, restlessness, or even frustration. You may find yourself asking, why am I still doing this? Why am I still here? Psychologists sometimes call this the disintegration phase, when outdated mental frameworks break down to make space for new growth. Spiritually, it's an energetic shedding, much like a snake releasing skin it has outgrown. It can be lonely. Friends or family may not understand why you suddenly want change. Some may try to pull you back into the old ways, not out of malice, but because your transformation disrupts their sense of normal. Guided reflection. Imagine standing at the edge of a shoreline, knowing the tide is coming in. Behind you is solid ground, familiar but unchanging. In front of you is the ocean, vast, unknown, and calling your name. Which way would you step? Soft call to action. If you're navigating these first stages, there's a free spiritual awakening survival guide linked in the description. It offers grounding practices and reflection prompts to help you integrate these changes without losing your balance. Sign 3, heightened sensitivity to energy. As the inner world expands, the outer world can feel more intense. You may notice yourself becoming more sensitive, not just emotionally, but energetically. A crowded room that once felt exciting may now feel overwhelming. You might sense tension in the air before anyone speaks, or feel drained after spending time with certain people. On the other hand, certain places, a forest, a quiet cafe, or the presence of one calm person may leave you feeling deeply restored. Think of it like having the volume turned up on all your senses. The soft becomes softer, the loud becomes louder, and the subtle energies you once missed now feel impossible to ignore. From a psychological viewpoint, this can be linked to heightened empathy and increased awareness of subtle cues. From a spiritual perspective, many see it as your personal energy field, becoming more finely tuned. Guided reflection. Close your eyes for a moment Imagine standing in a place that feels peaceful and safe to you. What does the air feel like? What colors do you see? Who, if anyone, is there with you? Sign 4, expanded compassion and connection. A profound sense of interconnectedness often follows. You may feel a deeper connection, not only to people, but also to animals, nature, and the planet itself. Suddenly, the suffering of others feels personal. You might find yourself moved to volunteer, to donate, to help in ways you never considered before. It's as if a veil has lifted, revealing the invisible threads that tie all living things together. In Buddhism, this is called bodhicitta, the awakening of the mind of compassion. In psychology, it might be seen as an expansion of perspective, where self-interest gives way to collective well-being. But there's a balance to maintain. Compassion without self-care can lead to exhaustion. Like a candle lighting many others, you must ensure your own flame doesn't burn out. Guided reflection. Picture yourself as a tree, roots deep in the earth, branches open to the sky. Your presence gives shelter and shade to others, but your roots must draw in nourishment too. Are you caring for your own roots as much as you give to others? Sign 5, questioning reality and beliefs. A spiritual awakening often involves a deep, sometimes unsettling, questioning of reality itself. Beliefs inherited from family, culture, or religion may no longer feel sufficient. It's not always about rejecting those beliefs. It's about moving from blind acceptance to personal understanding, from simply believing to directly experiencing. This stage can feel destabilizing, like walking through your home and realizing some of the walls are only painted scenery. But once the false walls fall, you are free to rebuild with authenticity. Have you noticed yourself becoming more curious about the nature of reality and whether the way things appear is truly the way they are? Guided reflection. Imagine holding an old map you've used your whole life. One day, you realize the map doesn't match the terrain anymore. Would you keep following it or start drawing your own? Sign 6, intense emotional waves. Awakening often stirs the emotional waters. Joy, grief, nostalgia, and even anger may arise more vividly than before. It's as if your heart, once wrapped in layers of protective cloth, is now bare to the elements. Every breeze, every drop of rain is felt directly. Psychologists explain this as the mind and body processing old, unhealed experiences, sometimes from decades ago. Spiritual traditions see it as the clearing of emotional energy, so the heart can open more fully. These waves are not setbacks. They are part of the purification process. Like the tide, they wash away what no longer belongs, making space for something new. Guided reflection. Picture standing in shallow ocean water. A wave comes in, lifting you gently, and then pulls back, carrying something away. What in your life might be ready to be carried out to sea? Sign 7, desire for purposeful living. The final sign is a shift in priorities toward meaning and purpose. The question changes from, what can I get from life, to what can I give to it? This stage often leads to big changes, new work that aligns with your values, creative projects, helping others, or deepening your spiritual practice. Success is no longer measured only in money or recognition, but in contribution and authenticity. It's like realizing you've been playing a game by someone else's rules, and finally deciding to write your own. Guided reflection. If you could design your days from sunrise to sunset, purely around what felt meaningful, what would they look like? Final strong call to action. If these signs resonate, the free Spiritual Awakening Survival Guide linked below can help you integrate them into daily life. Inside, you'll find grounding exercises, journaling prompts, and tools for navigating both the beauty and the challenges of awakening. Closing reflection. A spiritual awakening is not a single moment. It is a living process, a continuous unfolding of new insights, challenges, and openings. Some signs will appear, fade, and return again in deeper ways. Others will stay with you, becoming part of who you are. Wherever you are on this journey, remember, there is no rush. Every step, every pause, every detour is part of the evolution of you. So, which of these signs speaks to you most right now? And how might your life change if you followed it with courage?